So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can automate the process of generating new ideas for content and distributing it on your social media channels. So in this example, we're going to be using an RSS feed that will compile articles on a day-to-day basis. And then the text from an article that is chosen through the RSS feed will be scraped using a tool called Scraptio. That text from the article will be repurposed in this scenario to a short LinkedIn post using OpenAI's ChatGPT. The repurposed text will then be sent to an Airtable database, which will be serving as the content management system. And I'll show how you can go about building out a content management system using which I find to be like an Excel spreadsheet on steroids. And then once the content is sent to the Airtable for review, it is then distributed through LinkedIn, since it's a LinkedIn post in this case. And so we're going to start by building this out from scratch. And so the first step is pulling up the RSS feed. You have to have created an account with rss.app, which lets you pick different topics or sources of information that will get fed to this site and updated day in and day out. So with this example, I used AI News, and so the content that will be generated will come from these AI articles that are coming out each day and then repurposed into LinkedIn posts. And so create an account with rss.app, which will give you a link that you'll need for the make automation. So we're going to come over here and start with retrieve RSS feed items. So we'll be looking to retrieve the article. And so you're going to need that URL from the RSS feed that you set up. You're going to copy and paste that into the URL field. And then we can say date from, for the sake of this example, let's say date from July 9th. And then let's go with maximum number of return items. So let's go with one return item. So like basically it will be retrieving one article. All right. And then next step is Scraptio. So Scraptio is an app that will let you scrape text or information in general from different sites. And so in this scenario, we're going to be scraping the text from the article. You're going to also need a Scraptio account, and you're going to need to set up a connection with Scraptio. I already have my connection set up. And so then the website you're going to be scraping will be the URL attached to the RSS feed, and that's going to be it for this module. And then from there, we're going to go into the ChatGPT step, which is going to be a ChatGPT completion. So create a completion, and you need to make sure you have an OpenAI connection. So you need to attach your OpenAI key, and you're going to be creating a chat completion. The model, so OpenAI recently came out with their GPT-4o mini, which is significantly cheaper than everything that's out. So we can use GPT-4o mini. And then the message, we're going to go with user for the role. And then the message content, this is where you're going to input your prompt. And so you could, in this scenario, just for the sake of this example, I will say repurpose the text from the article below into a short 1 to 2 sentence LinkedIn post relevant to small and medium sized businesses and the impact of AI on them. And then the content is going to be the data from Scraptio, and we'll say 0 for the max tokens. So at this point, I would save what we have and run the automation once, just to see whether there's anything that needs to be changed or adjusted. So let's run once. So we retrieve the article, the text from it gets scraped, and then the ChatGPT prompt is run on that text, and we can see here what it came up with. So you see that this is the output that it came up with from one of the articles from the RSS feed. Small, medium-sized businesses can harness the transformative power of AI to elevate their decision-making, so on and so forth. And the prompt itself can be adjusted. You can prompt for certain words not to be used, for a particular kind of phrasing, and be as specific as you want, but just kind of put something simple just for the sake of this example. And then the next step is going to be Airtable. setting up your content management database. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new piece, start from scratch in Airtable. I really love Airtable. I love the interfacing of it. It feels very good, and it just feels like an enhanced version of Excel. And I just love the kind of automations you're able to do with it. And so we're going to title this RSS to content demo. And so we're going to label this table content. And so the fields that we're going to want to include here are the feed ID, which will be for the RSS feed, the articles that are coming from the RSS feed. We can use the auto number, and then we're going to want the post itself. So like the text from the post, and then we're going to want we can remove the assignee, and then we can leave status, but we're going to want to add edit the status field to review, approved, and publish. And so those are going to be our three fields here. And then within this table, we're going to want to have three different views. So we're going to duplicate this grid view twice. The first will be the review, second will be publish, and then the third will be published. And so basically, each time a post comes into the Airtable database from make.com, it will first have to be reviewed, and then you'll be able to toggle the status from review to approved. When you toggle it to approved, it will go to the publish view. And then once you've approved it in publish view by toggling it to publish, it will then, an automation will go off triggering for the content to be published. In this case, it's a LinkedIn post, and the row will be moved to the published view. And so in order to set that up, you're going to want to add in filters. So in the review tab, the filter should be, you should have a condition. So you're going to add condition where the status is review. So only the posts that need to be reviewed will come into here. And then for the published view, you're going to add the condition where the status is approved. And then for published, add condition where status is. So now at this point in time, we're going to go back to our make automation, and then we're going to add the Airtable module now that we have our base set up. And so we're going to create a record, and you're going to need to add a base with the Airtable OAuth, and we can call RSS to content. I'm going to say RSS to content demo. We're going to add the base RSS to content demo, and the base RSS to content demo, the table content, the post is going to be from ChatGPT, and then the status will be review. All right, so we're going to run this to ensure it works. So scraping the text from the article, repurposing it on ChatGPT, and then being sent to Airtable. And then we come and see, all right, it's arrived at the Airtable. Here's the post. It looks like it was an article around AI and sports betting, and then it's being related to small, medium-sized businesses. And then now what we're able to do is set up the automation within Airtable that will enable whoever's managing your content to review that content for it to be distributed. And then we'll be able to set up the Airtable database to set off a trigger so that the content will then go and be distributed once it's been reviewed. So after you've looked at the post, decided that you like it or you want to tweak a little bit, you can toggle the status from review to approved. It'll remove the row from the review view and then take it to the published view because it's not been approved. And so what we're going to want to do next is set up the Airtable automation. So we're going to add a trigger. So we're going to do it at scheduled time. So let's say day, interview day, interval day. So maybe every day, every one day at, let's just say 8 a.m. This trigger will be set off to do something. And then we are going to be finding a record. So it's going to find the record that came in from make.com. And so we're going to be looking at the content table, which is the only table we've created, and find the record based on the condition. So the condition is status approved, where it's in that publish tab with the approved status. And so for example, if we were to test this action, you would see that that record that was in the approved view or the published view with the approved status will pop up. And then lastly, we want to run a script. And so this requires some code, which I will provide this in the description that you can just copy and paste. And so what this will be doing is this is done to retrieve the record from Airtable to then send it to make.com so that the content can go out to be distributed to your social media. And so this JavaScript code, again, you'll be able to find it in the description below. You're going to copy and paste, and then you're just going to change the webhook right here that is being called for you to distribute the content. And so over here, you're going to copy and paste the code, and you can start with that. And then you're going to add input variable. And we're going to name this variable content ID. And the spelling around this is very important, or else it will create an error. And then the value is going to be you're going to find records. It's going to be the Airtable record ID. And then from there, we can go and work on the second half of the make automation. So we're going to apply a webhook, custom webhook. I'm going to add a webhook. We can call it RSS to content. I had already created one. And then it's going to give you this URL that you're going to copy, and you're going to take that and paste it in between these two quotation marks. And so with this webhook, if you now run it, because now we're going to test it out, it is now calling the information from and then Airtable is going to provide the record, which is the content that will then be sent to make.com to be distributed on LinkedIn. And so we're going to test it out. It looks like it ran successfully. So now if we go back to make.com, we see the record ID, which is the output coming from Airtable. And we are done here for now. We can go back to this. All right, so now the next step in the second half of the automation is to now get the record from Airtable. So once again, we're going to add the connection type. Let's say RSS content demo, add a base, RSS to content demo, grant access, base, RSS to content demo, the table's content, and then the record ID is going to come from the webhook, and then we're going to click OK. And the last step is now distribution to LinkedIn. So we can create a user text post. You have to connect your LinkedIn to make.com. And then the content is going to be from the Airtable post. So I'm actually going to leave off the LinkedIn module for now, just because I don't want it to post on LinkedIn. But just to test that this works, I'm going to run this, and then I'm going to come in to the Airtable where this post is in the publish view. And then we can go to the automation tab to test this out. And if we click on test action here where it says run the script, it'll then be picked up by the webhook on make.com, webhook module, and you'll be able to see what the output is. So you can see that this is the record that was retrieved from the Airtable. And then this is what will now go out on LinkedIn with the LinkedIn module. So it will be the post from Airtable if you're actually posting it on LinkedIn. And there you have it. So in this video, we showed what the process is to take an article that comes in and day out from an RSS feed, to have the text scraped from the article, repurposed by ChatGPT into, in this scenario, a LinkedIn post, but it could be done for really any social media channel and in multimedia kind of ways as well. And then how to set up an Airtable database to manage the content. So once approved, it could then be sent to the publish tab by changing the status to publish. And if you turn this automation on, then it would start running every day at 8 a.m. in this scenario. And then how to call that information from Airtable to then be distributed on social media.